Hello. I think we're live. Excuse the music. Let me see. Is the video showing up? Because I don't see it yet. Yeah, we're here. Fantastic. How is everyone feeling today? I am, as always, really excited to be here with you. Today, I'm going to speak about the missing piece to your international yoga career. So let me go live on Instagram at the same time. Hello, Instagram. Hello, Facebook. So I introduced the topic already. Oh, I see we've got a poor connection. Let me just restart. Turn off the Wi-Fi. And try it again. There we go. All right. So, hello, Instagram. Hello, Facebook. We're here for our weekly live training. And in today's live training, I'm going to speak about the missing piece to your international yoga teaching career. Now, just double checking again on Facebook if we're actually live. Yeah, it's working. Live on Facebook as well. And let me start speaking about this, because some of you will have joined us for the Teach with Confidence mini course, which I hosted last weekend. And on this course, on the last day, I explained the 6-step process to teach with confidence in English, even if you speak English as a foreign language, right? So you might have seen this already. If you missed it, but you would like to watch the replays, you can still do so on the online learning platform, because the recording of those sessions are there to stay. You have lifelong access to everything, to the recordings and to your homework. And to not rush your progress, you can revise the materials and you can finish the homework whenever you like. So there's no rush with it. Now, during this last training, I explained the 6-step process. And the 6-step process has one really important point. Actually, that's step number 1. And it's find your voice. Find your voice. What do we really mean with that, right? What does that really mean, find your voice? Because we all have a voice when we speak. Now, your voice, as they call it in yoga, is the way you speak, yeah, the way that you communicate, but also what you communicate. So this includes your tone of voice, the language, the type of language that you use. It includes the intonation, the way your voice goes up and the way your voice goes down, right? Your intonation going up and down, and a lot more things. But you may have heard of the terms use your voice, your authentic voice, finding your voice. All of that refers to the development of becoming, but also expressing yourself as who you truly are. Now, the way you communicate and what you communicate. When finding your voice in a foreign language, it also refers to learning the type of language that matches your teaching style. It matches your tone of voice. It matches the style of yoga that you teach, and all of that so that you can stay true to your natural way of being and your natural way of communication, even when teaching yoga in English. So, in this training today, I would like to share with you the missing piece. And actually, there are a few missing pieces. But the first one and the most important one when you start teaching yoga in English, as you can guess now, is receiving support and also receiving guidance and feedback in your development of finding your own voice in English. Or in your first language, if you start teaching right now. So As a yoga teacher, you know how important it is to have self-awareness, to be aware of the way you teach, use your voice, and also that you actually own it. You fully feel confident being and speaking or expressing yourself as you are. So how important it is to teach as your authentic self and learn a language that you need that matches your personality, and to not lose the essence of your personality and feel completely yourself when you're teaching. Because important reason why, if you feel yourself in class, if you teach as yourself, you're not acting, you're not copying other teachers, you're not playing the role of a yoga teacher. If you are fully comfortable being yourself in your classes, your students as well feel more comfortable to explore themselves in your classes. Yeah. If you are comfortable with who you are, your students will have a lot more freedom or feel a lot more room to go on this path of self-discovery. So as a yoga teacher, you're a role model. And if you can be yourself, your students also feel safe to explore who they are. They feel safe to explore their own bodies, their practice, and develop their own sense of self. So it's important that you do the work first so that you can guide your students do that same thing. Now, finding your voice, especially in a foreign language, comes with a few challenges and fears. Now, practical, let me see, Nigel, you're such a love. Oh, thank you so much, lovely. Have fun at work. And if you want to, you can always watch the replay later. So finding your voice, especially in a foreign language, comes with a few challenges, but also fears. A practical challenge, and a practical challenge, I call it practical because you can simply learn it, gain knowledge and skill. But practical challenges can be not having enough vocabulary or lacking the vocabulary that we use in a yogic setting. Yeah, this probably makes you think that your cues and that your sequences are ineffective, or the way that you explain is not clear enough, right? So it could be ineffective, or it could be uninspiring for your students. This is something that you think when you lack vocabulary. But lacking vocabulary is something that you can very easily learn. Very easy. Well, easy not. It's a progress. There's work to do, but you can learn it. Fears are a little bit harder to overcome because fears are deeply wired in our unconscious. Yeah, fears that come up when you find your voice could be the fear of speaking, or the fear of being heard, the fear of speaking in front of a group, or even one-to-one. Maybe you fear people judge your accent, or you fear making mistakes, being judged on your mistakes, or maybe you even fear that because your instructions or the way that you communicate isn't clear enough, you fear that maybe you hurt people, or you cause injury, or maybe make it a little bit less safe for them. It can be very intimidating to teach in a foreign language, especially if you first start teaching yoga in English, right? So, but since you are here, I know that you have a passion. You have a passion that you want to share with the world, and it's all of the things that you have learned through yoga. Yeah, so it's your time now to kiss goodbye all the fears, to do the work, to overcome the practical challenges, kiss goodbye fears and insecurities, and start working on the development on your voice. Yeah, so on our social media, but also during the mini course, I shared one of my favorite phrases of all time. And that phrase is, having an accent is a sign of bravery. Having an accent is a sign of bravery. Now, for the yoga teachers here, I like to rephrase this and say teaching yoga in a foreign language is a sign of bravery. Yeah, teaching yoga in a foreign language is a huge sign of bravery. because a foreign accent adds authenticity to your classes. It already says a lot about your teaching voice, your teaching style, but your personality as well. It's something that's really unique to you. And most people, the students that come to your classes, they absolutely love it because it means that you're yourself. So it shows as well that you've put in hours of work, studying, learning, refining, trying to make yourself understood by others. And it shows effort, it shows commitment, it shows discipline. It shows that you care enough about others to learn their language and make yourself understood. Make sure that you're able to communicate with them. It also shows that you're unafraid. Yeah, you dare to be vulnerable, you dare to make mistakes, you dare to be out in the open and being corrected by people, because learning doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen without making mistakes. So learning a language, learning to teach yoga, and learning to teach yoga in a foreign language is absolute bravery. It takes work. But when you do that work, you will feel so fulfilled and accomplished and so excited to share all of what you have learned with absolute confidence. And I love learning languages myself too. And I'm still learning every day. I know really, really, really well what it feels like to be uncomfortable with your personality or the way that you express yourself in a foreign language. But with lots of practice, with feedback, with tips and tricks, guidance, support, having interaction with people, you can make teaching yoga in a foreign language a really enjoyable and a very rewarding experience. So the reason why this is a missing piece in many yoga teacher training and the missing piece for your international career, why it really is so hard as well to learn to do this during your yoga teacher training, is that in teacher training, there's a limited time to learn and develop. Yoga teacher trainings cover a lot already. Yeah, and not all teacher trainers have enough time to dedicate time to developing your own authentic expression, because you need to learn all about the asanas, about the history, the philosophy. You want to learn about the mechanics, how to instruct, how to sequence, how to cue, like the development of your voice. There's not always time for it. The other thing why it's hard to do this in yoga teacher training, and I'm speaking about a 200-hour yoga teacher training, is that finding your voice is a progress. It requires self-awareness. It requires a lot of reflection, self-discovery, and lots and lots and lots and lots of practice. And as mentioned, YTTs, yoga teacher trainings, don't always have time for this, because some of them only last for 3 weeks or a month. But it requires as well a little bit of your own work. Practicing teaching different types of people, different types of classes, exploring new themes, exploring with topics, trying it out on different types of students with different types of body types. Finding your voice really isn't something that you can do in one day or that you can do in your first yoga teacher training. But to find out what your voice is, to really start to own it and overcome the challenges, the fears and the insecurities, but also the practical challenge of lacking vocabulary, all of the things that stop you from finding your voice, I'm going to share with you right now 7 steps to take that will give you a little bit of structure, a little bit of guidance in the process of finding your voice. So if you want to, grab pen and paper, and I'm going to dive in straight away. So 7 things that you can do, and I would say follow them in this order. 7 things that you can do to find your voice, and already starting by yourself. So number 1, discover the type of language, the type of words or the vocabulary that you use in your first language. I explained all about this during the mini course. So if you haven't got any idea of what I'm speaking right now, go to the online learning platform and watch the replays of the mini course. I explained about this in day 1 of the course. Step number 2 is when you find out the type of language that you use in your first language, practice using the language as much as possible. So when you know what the language is you're using, for example, Spanish, find the categories of words that match it and you need to learn, and then practice those types of vocabulary as much as possible. Immerse yourself, read, listen, write, speak. Find all the English resources that you could possibly need or benefit from to immerse yourself and practice. Number 3 is find support to enhance your pronunciation and your intonation. This includes finding the right tone, finding the right pacing, the speed in which you speak, finding the right structures, grammatical structures that you use to speak, your intonation, and the way that you pronounce words. So your ability to pronounce well will help your students to understand you better, obviously, and also it will make you feel way more confident speaking one-on-one, speaking in front of your class or in a group setting. So step number 3, find support to enhance your pronunciation and your intonation. Now, number 4, let go of judgment. And I want to speak about this a little bit in detail. So it's very, very common for people, every single person in this world, to judge themselves. We judge ourselves for mistakes we make, the accent that we have, pronunciation, and even the teaching skills, right? But the more you judge yourself, the more you judge others. And the more you also feel judged by others. And it's more likely that because there's so much judgment, you attract people that judge you. Think of this phrase, like attracts like. And you can translate this to judgment attracts judgment. Your class is a safe space where everyone can be themselves. At least that's what you want to offer, right? So it's a space where people can learn, where they can make mistakes, because mistakes are part of learning. When you let go of judgment, judgment around you will slowly disappear as well. Yeah, when you don't judge yourself, you are less likely to judge other people and less likely to attract people that judge you or themselves. So stop thinking about what others think and be unapathetic. I always find this a very difficult word to pronounce. See, I've got challenges sometimes too. Be completely yourself. Yeah, be completely yourself. Number 5, step number 5, define your role as a yoga teacher. Now, there's a very, very important step to develop your personal teaching voice. Ask yourself, if you want to write down these questions, ask yourself, what does it really mean to be a yoga teacher? And what impact do you have or can you make on your students? How can you communicate, lead, and guide and teach safely and responsibly? Because remember that every individual that comes to your classes, you as well as your students have their own backgrounds. You can't always know what goes on in the life of your students, yeah, or how things are perceived by them. Think of associations and connotations. You can't always know what goes on in the life of your students, but you want to create a place that is accessible, that is inclusive, that has a positive atmosphere and encourages growth. It encourages learning and development without judgment. So define your role as a yoga teacher and the values, the boundaries that you bring into class, because this is a really, really, really important part in the development of your voice. Now, speaking of values and boundaries, this is step number 6 in the process of defining your voice. So define your values and boundaries. Your values and boundaries are usually very similar to the ones that you use in your daily life, especially if you're living up to the standards of your authentic self in your daily life. So start thinking about the way that you, in your daily life, value things and show your boundaries. What are the things that you stand for, that you find really, really important? And when do you feel someone crosses your boundaries? What goes against your principles, against your morals? So this can be very practical things like coming prepared or being on time, staying a little bit longer to answer questions. But it can also be reactions or behavior that you do not tolerate from your students. Really uncomfortable things. People that say things to each other in your yoga classes, comments, or things that they ask you, for example. So ask yourself, what do you find important? What are your personal morals, your ethics, and your principles? And then how do those answers reflect in your yoga classes? Yeah. How do your morals, principles, and your ethics reflect in your yoga classes? Then step number 7 is define your teaching style. So what is the kind of yoga that you teach? Or what is it that you do want to teach? What kind of atmosphere do you want to create? And what type of elements do you want your classes to be known for? What are the needs of your students? Once you define your teaching style and the style of yoga that you teach, you will have a lot more clarity on the type of vocabulary that you need to learn or that you want to learn, and also better and more confidently articulate your cues, your instructions, and the yogic concepts that you include in your classes. So as you see, one of the missing pieces is finding your voice. There's a few more, but this is step number 1. This is a really important one, because without feeling yourself, without feeling comfortable with yourself, it's really, really hard to progress. Yeah, so finding your voice is a progress in itself already. It's all we focus on in the first module of the English for Yoga Teachers course. And it's actually what the boot camp is all about. And I've had some questions from people like, what is this boot camp? How is this different from the English for Yoga Teachers course? So the boot camp is from the 24th to the 26th of March. And the boot camp is all about finding your voice and learning the vocabulary that matches your personality, your teaching style, and the style of yoga that you teach. The boot camp is part of the English for Yoga Teachers course, but I know that for some, the large course, the English for Yoga Teachers course is 4 months. It's a little bit too much of a commitment, and they just want to kickstart it and boost the learning to start making some progress. Yeah, so the boot camp is part of the English for Yoga Teachers course, but you can also sign up to the boot camp as itself. Now, they both start on the 24th of March. And as I explained, the bootcamp is the kickstart of your international career. After that, we continue with the 4-month program to not only find your voice and learn the vocabulary that you need, but also help you practice through the training weekends, conversation classes, teaching practices. You'll receive feedback from me, very personal and very specific, detailed feedback on all your teaching practices, your scripts, your homework, whatever it is that you want me to revise for you. But we also have a look at how to upgrade your teaching skills and learn how to offer a safe and accessible and secure learning environment for your students. And in the last module, we'll look at how to build your international career with the help of our business training weekend, and completely focus on your social media presence, the people that you want to work with, how to start collaborations or partnerships, maybe even create your own course or your retreats or workshops, whatever it is, this is covered in the last module of the English for Yoga Teachers course. So to summarize the missing piece, and remember there's a few missing pieces, but it all starts with finding your voice, finding who you truly are, what the words and the vocabulary and the languages that you need to truly express yourself, embodying it to feel extremely confident with who you are in your yoga classes, and not worry about your accent or your pronunciation or maybe mistakes that you make, but feel fully confident and comfortable with yourself so that you can inspire your students to also do that inner work and be comfortable with themselves. So you might have seen it, the enrollment for the English for Yoga Teachers course is still open. We have a new discount, so the $350 discount expired yesterday, but you can still enroll with a $250 discount. This discount is valid until the 19th of March. After that, there are no more discounts. Right, okay, so it's from today, the 15th of September, 15th of March until the 19th of March, there's a $250 discount on the English for Yoga Teachers course. If the English for Yoga Teachers course is too much commitment right now, check out the bootcamp. The bootcamp is from the 24th of March to the 26th of March. And if you have any questions or you need to know anything, you doubt, maybe you wonder if you're ready, if this is really something you can do, feel free to write to me and we can chat for a little bit and I can help you out, carve out your learning journey or the rest of your career path. All right. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. If you have questions, always feel free to write to me, send me a message on Instagram, on Facebook, or my email at Annie@Enga Unite. I wish you all a great rest of your day, and I really hope to see all of you very soon for the start of the English for Yoga Teachers course, the bootcamp, or maybe both of them. Sending you all lots of love. And I'll see you tomorrow. Is it tomorrow or on Friday? We've got more interviews and training coming up this week. So check out the link in my bio for all the events. And I hope to see all of you there too. Sending you lots of love. Have a great rest of your day. And see you soon. Goodbye, everyone.